So we got music can be cooking up something good. So this is your second weekly, like tracking your own week post, right? It's
Yeah.
kind of like your review of the week. What did I
Yeah.
do? This article, but you gave it a name to do with dirty dishes this time. What was the thinking there?
That there's a lot of messes in my life. And I was actually walking to work on something and I was like, sometimes life is just messy. Oh, no, here's the thing. I make more issues for myself by not doing something right away. And for some reason, yeah, I mean that. Okay, I didn't know I was dealing with the doctor today. Dr. Nick. Yeah, that word, the P word. Um where because I don't do something right away, it becomes a bigger pile of shit for me to deal with, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse. And for some reason, my old studio that I owned, that kitchen sink popped into my head, and I just thought about that mess and how much time it would take me because I just didn't do like it get crusty and yeah. So a lot of images
Mm-mm.
popped into my head.
Yeah. I mean, we've all done it, right? We've all cooked something or even just like ordered in food and got our own dishes dirty and then just like, I'll throw them in the sink, get to them tomorrow.
Yep.
And then you'd need like a flamethrower to get the mess off of them.
Yeah. Yeah, especially like hot sauce or barbecue or any, I guess the thing really wasn't about food, but now I think I'm hungry. So where I'm like, yeah, barbecue, wings, yeah. So I think what I
Wait,
was
wait, wait,
trying
wait, wait. I thought wings were a no-go now. Like no,
on
only
Wednesday nights
lose.
you can not have wings. It's one rule. Do not the other the other Wednesday we went at 6:30 to the place and the dining staff goes, why are you guys here so early? We confused them. We're usually there at 9 promptly. So,
Hmm.
but no, I was trying to figure out a way to like get my message across. Like, hey, mentally, this is what I struggle with. What's a correlation? And dishes popped in my head. So it could have been it could be vacuuming, which I need to do right now. But yeah,
Oh. You don't just sweep it all under the rug.
that's my life.
And so then you kept the food metaphor going here
I've been
with the
fasting a
setting
lot.
the table, nice meal. You've been really
Well,
thinking about food. I like the
yeah,
concept. You did keep it like you stuck with one idea and riffed on it, and that's something that works in improv
yeah.
a solo too, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, very true. What I was again, I think I sat outside where I was working, and the sun was out, and I kind of like started writing that first paragraph, not knowing where I was going, and then all of a sudden, like the ideas of the rest of it popped in. I'm like, well, if you're not, kind of a part of it was, if you're not having fun while you're doing this, you're kind of wasting your time, right? Like,
Hmm.
also, if the prep takes you forever, is it really that enjoyable to make? It's all these little things that add up to a big thing, I guess.
Well, you think about so I've done this. I don't. I'm sure everyone probably has, but you're like, oh, I'm going to make this meal today.
Yeah,
Like I'm going to need these. Okay, and I go to the store and I grab them. Okay. Oh crap! I forgot like these things, so I got to run back to the store. And now I'm already aggravated. Like I was supposed to be cooking now, and we're supposed to be like eating in a little bit.
yeah.
And I'm back at the store and I'm looking for and that lack of prep, that lack of proper prep, can make an enjoyable task absolutely miserable and
Yeah.
frustrating and annoying.
Well, and it goes back to so right now, like the last 2 days, all I've done is vocals on dreams and
Hmm.
just really trying to get it. And that prep in my mind is like you could change that word to skill set. So because I lack some places in my skill set of playing piano, so I'm playing piano, running through the melody, trying to sing it at the same time. So I got a chord in
Right.
this hand, a melody in this hand. Well, I don't have that skill set. So I have to start at 50 BPM to sing through some parts and try to get that rhythm down because I know that methodology works for me, but because I haven't
Yeah.
done the work earlier on, it's more work for me right now.
Yeah. 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 No, I hear you on that. I mean, how I went to that music school in LA before I even had the basics of music and guitar learned,
Oh,
and they teaching the basics because they were assuming that you knew the basics, and I don't know how I got accepted. Still, I must have looked
Really?
better on my mission video than I really was. But
You just looked really. Are you looked good or your plane looked good? Both.
I think it looked good.
Gotcha.
But then I was pulling 10-hour days, to prep for that. It's like 2 weeks, 10 hours a day practicing just like the material for the admission video.
Now,
So
at the end of that audition video, though, how good were you? Just the video, just the end of the video.
it's definitely better.
Yeah,
It's definitely
but
much better.
that's the same thing that I'm seeing in it's all the same story. Like when I spend 2 hours on the mess that is my piano playing and singing, shit, I walk out of these
Hmm.
sessions and I'm like, the next day I walk in, I play it, and I can play it at the tempo that I couldn't play the day before, plus 20 BPM usually. So it's just
Yeah.
it's maybe almost dealing with that mess sometimes of being like, so this is, and I actually say this in the article. Sometimes you have to clean shit up right away. Sometimes you don't. Embracing where you're not good might be a great way of saying it too, and being okay
Hmm.
with being shitty for a while and progress.
And working on the rough patch. Like if you can already do this, then obviously you don't need to work on that
Yep.
part so hard. Like it's like going through a song and there's two measure phrase. Every time you play through the whole song, that's where you mess up.
Yep.
And approaching it, you start nervous, and then you flub it, and then you're like flub the next section because you're still thinking about your flub on that one part that you always flub, and
I haven't even released the
instead of
video, and you're telling me everything I just did. But you're right.
but if you just take that two measure phrase that you're struggling with and work it until that's the most comfortable thing for
Yep.
you to play, which you can't enough time and practice. You can take that difficult small chunk and smooth it out.
I With practice, I think you honestly, my current assessment is you can do anything with enough
Yeah.
time. So it's funny. So I did my scratch tracks, and the first two lines of the verse I'm pretty comfortable with. Like I can hear the melodic movement good, the rhythm is tight. The second two
Right.
lines, rhythm goes away, melody then goes away with the rhythm, and it just goes down a hill. And
Yeah.
it's the same song. It's similar ideas, but it's just different enough that it throws me. And so that's all I practiced, is just those two lines that I'm terrible at, so I can shore them up a little bit and then add in the pre-chorus. But yeah, it's coming. It's slow.
It is slow going. So this is kind of a deviation, but
Yeah,
it's on the. I was taking those lessons from that opera singer
yeah.
recently, right? Uh, she said something that actually kind of blew my mind because you and I we sing notes by kind of like hearing them back or hearing them in our heads and achieving them that way. But she was telling me like, okay, so that's how you learn a melody,
Mm,
right? But once you know it, you should be able to sing the pitches from remembering how it feels. Remember like the sensation of that pitch. Like you shouldn't have to be able to hear yourself. Like because she's telling me like when you're up on stage with a full orchestra, you don't hear your own voice as an opera
yeah,
singer.
I believe it.
You have to like feel your way through the whole thing and just know that you're hitting those notes.
I'm always on step one, and you're always talking about step five. But
This to me is like 50.
okay, well, good. Then I don't feel bad about being that far away on step zero. Um, it, I was watching some videos at the same point, but I was watching these videos about singing today because I'm struggling on focusing on all these aspects, these technical aspects, and then also relaxing and not straining my voice, right? Um, and it's amazing how much is in there, how much you have to think about, and how much I just lost my fucking point. Out the window. Really, really wish I was adding some words in to try to see if I could find it back. No, I got nothing.
Uh, well, let's just move on to the article then.
Sounds good.
Uh, so you're in this next one, you're talking basically about the problem of procrastination. That if you don't just take care of the mess as it shows up, you don't take care of the things that are on your plate right now, then it's just going to build up and cake up, and you're going to have You're
You're
gonna
gonna
have
have
a
a
much
mess.
bigger mess, or more
I,
difficult, maybe. You know.
you're making if my goal is an hour of practice every day,
Hmm.
and it takes me 20 minutes to set stuff up, I'm wasting every day 20 minutes of my time. Um, or if I'm not practicing my rudiments, like on the drums the other day, obviously I'm not a drummer, um, but I had to spend a lot of time just working on my hand technique so that I could play a part that should be playable if you're a drummer. So,
Right. Right.
so I think, and I'm making that very playable preparation, but also like having a good process with my external hard drives is very important. Having a good file management system. So when we're done with this, I save it. I now actually the other day cleaned up my folders for the 700th time. Also, I'm not allowed to do lists anymore. I I have currently 2,000 lists on my computer.
Oh my god.
Five are maybe active. I might need that student note from 2018, Nick. I don't know. But my point is good
That
processes.
your emails will build up, your
Yeah.
notes will
Yeah.
build up, your lists build up, and yeah, you don't clean house regularly. You let
It's a
it
good way of
go
saying it.
until that molehill becomes a true mountain.
I was thinking about like if I had a scar right here, I would just let it bleed and fester until it engulfs my whole head. And they're like, yeah, you should have just.
Maybe I should treat this.
But that is essentially. So I'm trying to do better, and part of that was where this kind of this pot or this article for me kind of took off. The first one I did is what did I do this week, and then my second one I think or third one was it's okay to say no. It's okay to have these boundaries because I want to get. If I want to do something, I have to start asking myself, is this something I actually want to do? It's like a vetting period for me now. Because I'm agreeable as a person. I shouldn't be. I'm a dick.
Right. Say yes to everything, but then yeah, it's funny because you are agreeable, but you're also repulsive and an asshole.
No, we're taping this, actually. uh, I think I'm kind of selfish and I want to, yeah, you like that? And I kind of want to do my own thing. I'm just very stupid in the fact that I think I can do what I want to do without having to do it. That's my brain though. That is, I have a lot of tabs open, and I need to work. And this is why that Thursday I crashed, and I'm happy I did it. I was fucking elated I did it, and especially I'm a big payoff guy. The payoff on Friday, I was just like, oh yeah, I fucking got up at 6:30 and kicked goddamn ass, motherfucker, and probably put a 12-hour day in. I shouldn't be that happy
Right.
about that. No, I shouldn't be though. It was music all day, so I was happy that aspect, I guess. If I'm kicking ass for those things, I think it's fine.
It feels good though to to have that sense of achievement, right?
Yeah. Well, and for me, it felt good because via my list, I add a lot to it and don't get them done. Um, and so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I kicked butt on the recording, and where I can see an end to it. Like I can see this coming to an end, and I'm like, I can. This is a project I can get done and feel successful at and feel good about. And I need that. I need that win. Yeah. Excited to hear you for you to hear those vocals.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to hear them because I
That
don't
not
know what it's like without me there to scream at you.
I imagine you are, so don't worry. That would be a fun session though. I thought about this as I was doing I think on Saturday to do where you just give feedback listening to the it's basically like almost a lesson where you're like, "Luke, come on, you're not enunciating, you stupid," and then you hit the
I'll just do
phone.
like
You hit your phone and then you hang up on me and you're like, "I'm done with this. That guy can't sing at all." That's the story I tell myself. It
all right, so let's hit this next section.
Okay.
You're talking about the plug and play aspect of your shooting process, right?
Yes. Well, and that's kind of
So
what I
that
was.
prep, doesn't it? As
Yeah.
long as everything is good to go and it's easy to get started, and you don't have to spend those 20 minutes sorting through a bunch of junk just to get to what you wanted to do
Yep.
20 minutes ago.
Yep. Well, and that going back to that file management of just having a good process. Also putting stuff in the same place all the time for me on my computer.
Hmm.
Like
Uh-huh.
I lost a video of yours the other. Didn't lose it. but I cleaned up my file management and didn't move that one into it.
Oh,
And then
right.
you
Okay.
just waste 5 minutes looking for shit, and I'm just like, Luke, you gotta get it together. You need to know where stuff is so it's easy for you to do, so you don't have that one step. Or, like for me, it's all the pics are upstairs. Like there's a storage of pics. They travel down here. There'll be 5 on my table, and they all disappear. So I go ready to practice. Well, I guess I'll go. It's again. I think a big thing is all the little things add up to big things.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 minutes here and there, or a lot of times since I drink a lot of water, I'll get all ready to go, and I'm like, I better go to the bathroom now. I'm gonna shoot for 40 minutes. I better. What is my phone checking right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, time
My
wasters.
my big one, because I've never been someone who does much on social media at all, who follows
Yeah,
anything or spends much time on it. But boy, did I fall down the YouTube trap hole, trap door, or whatever. And like this last couple weeks, I'd just be like, oh, I'll check that YouTube video out.
yeah,
And then there's another interesting one, or it sounds they're usually not interesting, but their titles, it's clickbait titles. So it's
yeah,
like, oh, I'll check that one out. Oh, I'll
yeah,
check that. Like, oh shit, I didn't get. Now I lost my train of thought like a long
yeah.
time ago. I didn't do it anymore.
Well, and it stinks that so I was over at a friend's house and they were talking about how reels, where they'll just every reel is like 10 seconds, or every shorts is YouTube is like 10 seconds, right? Maybe 40 seconds. Well,
Hmm.
you don't feel bad watching 5 of them, but all of a sudden, an hour later, all you've done is sat there and watched YouTube. I mean, it's programmed to be addictive. It's programmed to keep us on there.
I mean, they do it for a reason, right?
Yeah,
It's shown to. So
yeah. No, and I did that
yeah,
to.
boy.
It is. I did today when I was working on vocals, where I was like, I'm singing with too much strain. This part needs a little falsetto. I'm not good at that. YouTube, let me learn. Well, there's 15 minutes of my practice, and it's probably I needed some of it, and I took notes. But it's very easy to then have a YouTube practice session.
Well, that's not necessarily the worst. So I'd say like a much worse example is what happens to me a lot these days. Is I'll be like, oh, let's see what new videos are up for Music by the Measures,
Yeah,
and a link so I can copy them into an article or something or whatever, a
yeah.
newsletter. And I'll pull up YouTube and be like, oh, that video looks interesting. Let me just check that out quick, and then I'll do that. And then, like 4 videos later, I'm like, wait, what was I doing?
Yeah, where was I? No, I get
Uh,
it. I get it. Um, but this is kind of important, not important, but part of it too. So have you ever heard the saying before though, where you swallow the toad?
No, I
Okay.
haven't. This was new to
So,
me. But I've heard the swallow the squirrel one.
nah. You did. You did a joke. You did a. That's good. I like that. I like that. No. So some of these ideas came from a procrastination video that I was watching on YouTube. More, well, the toad did. That's where I heard that concept. So if you
Hmm.
have a list, or 2,000 of them, you pick if you have an actual list, you pick the worst thing on the list, the thing that you're dreading most, you do it first. So it's kind of taking a cold shower, right? Like I did this one thing, now I have confidence I can build on that and do other things.
Well, that and you're not building up dread the whole time. You're not going through the more pleasant
Yeah.
tasks and then that unpleasant one to not look forward to. And as your reward for all that work you did, you have this pile of shit to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, and a lot of it is just rip the band-aid off. Just do it. And that's the kind of how I feel right now about when I write something down on my list, which I'm still keeping lists for now. I'll fade them out or phase them out. I actually ask myself, am I going to do this? Which is a sad thing
Hmm.
to ask yourself at 39. Like, I'm making a list. Am I actually going to do this? And if I'm not, I just delete it right away. I'm like, that's a cool idea, but you don't have the time. You don't have the energy. You're not going to do it.
That's important to learn lessons, not necessarily important when you learn them. Just that you actually do learn them.
I would prefer 12 versus 39, but that's me.
We all would. I'd prefer a lot of things too, and well, I have
Yeah.
to live with what I got.
Yeah, you don't necessarily get. But hopefully we can learn and get better. And I think I am. I'm taking a bunch of small steps.
See, that's where growing up playing video games really misleads you, because in the video games you can always make a save point, and once you mess something up, you can go back to your save point and redo it.
Yeah, that
But
would be nice.
I don't know why, but life doesn't seem you know. I've tried to load the
Just
save
wait.
point. I've tried, just
I'm
hasn't
glad you said
working out.
load because I think that'd be concerning if you said I'm trying to reload the save point. That sounds a lot like kick the bucket to me. I'm trying to hit refresh, okay? Do.
All right, so what's next here? We got the new
What?
recipe
Yeah,
cooking.
and I like this idea though of like what I do through a day is my recipe, right? It's my list. So if I can
Hmm.
shake that up and think of it this way, I'm not always getting the results that I want. So that means things are not working for like am I going to keep on doing what I'm doing and expect that someday I'm going to get that done?
Well, if you follow a recipe and your loaf of bread doesn't rise, are you just going to use that recipe forever and
Yeah.
never and expect one day your loaf of bread will rise
Yeah.
magically? It's going to change after you've done the same exact things over. No, no, you got to try something different, right?
But maybe this time.
But maybe
That's
this time.
yeah, but maybe
Kind of
this time.
the definition of insanity
Yeah.
is doing the same exact thing over and over and expecting a different outcome.
For sure. And it's realizing your expectations too. I have unrealistic expectations.
Hmm.
That's what it amounts
You
to.
certainly do.
Delusional almost though.
Like when I worked with you, and when I was around, and I got to see you kind of fumble your way through your days, overwhelming yourself constantly. It'd be like
Yeah.
you would tell me, I'd get like a rough sketch of what you had to do for the day or for the week, and
Yeah.
I'd be like, "There's no way,
Yeah.
there's no ball chance in hell that you're going to get through all that, or even half of that. This thing you think is going to take a half hour is going to take like 6 hours.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
is,
and you
this is time that you're working with."
yeah. And even 3 hours of me mentally preparing myself to get started on it.
Right.
That's what I'm at. But yeah. And those are some of the perspective switches that I'm trying to make of like I I I like I said earlier, I said no to something that I don't usually say no to. I said yes to something else. I'm just trying to be like, yeah, I'd love to do that. That sounds like a lot of fun. It really just doesn't make sense though. And that's my
Right.
text messages to people now. And they're just like, oh, I guess I told somebody, I'm like, my happiest place is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where I don't have any meetings, I don't have anything scheduled, and I can practice and record all fucking day. And she goes, oh. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine being. I like being an introvert. I like being alone. She's like, do you miss people? I was like, no.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So yeah,
And here we at that point where I get jealous of your life again. And
that's
that's a
why
terrible.
I saw that in your eyes and I felt a little bit bad. What I think was hilarious is when I said no before she was done finishing the sentence. Do you
Mm.
miss no?
So once again, she didn't get to finish.
So the other videos that I'm working on now, it's very funny. So my follow through sucks. I did week 1 of Lead Jam.
It does.
I filmed week 2. Never
Did
released
you?
it. Yeah, it's shit. I needed one more
Not
day.
that bad. Uh,
There were for sure good concepts and ideas in the solo. Recorded the backing track.
when you do these solos, is your approach to kind of compose, like improv compose, so you like play through, find ideas that you like, and then kind of stitch them together into a final product?
Yeah. And actually got really lucky on the first one I did because I did 40 takes total. Then I went outside to take a break, came back, did 5 more takes, and picked from that first group. But I didn't think I had anything, to be quite honest. I was
Mm.
pleasantly surprised when take 35 was gorgeous in my mind, or good. I won't use gorgeous. I use good.
But I enjoyed it.
So then did that same process for the week 2 one, and it never got where it needed to go. It just needed one more session, which is fine.
One thing I think you could try it's pretty fun and very very productive in the end. Is take a line from a song you know
Mm.
or like. It could be any line. It could be a vocal line. It could be a guitar line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Piano line. Whatever instrument. Just like a cool line you hear. Figure it out, and then use that as the base like motif of your solo idea. So kind of riff on that.
Gotcha.
So
I
kind
like,
of riff on that.
yeah, give me a starting off point. That I wouldn't say it's what I struggled on. I think I just went overboard like I do all the time. But I was composing in my mind a solo that had four really cool sections to them that were
Right.
pushing me just more than I need to. And we kind of talked about this before. Sometimes we have shitty weeks,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and I should have been in the position to say the next day I'm going to pick this up because now it's been a week and a half since I've done anything on it. I might as well almost start over, right?
Oh, you've lost that train of thought by now.
I have no idea what that train is. I'm not on board at all. There's no
It
train.
start over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because I think that's where I'm at now. I'm like, I got lucky on the first one. Sometimes you get lucky.
Yeah.
But I do think even with our videos, we're finding better rhythm together of like, hey, here's how we shoot these, here's how we do these, and I think that's part of cooking up something good. Like we're making, dude. Again, I mean, I had my little break last week where I think we missed 3 days of YouTube, but for the most part, we've been posting 2 videos a day for the last 3 or 4 weeks.
That's pretty good.
We've not done that ever before. So yeah,
Yeah.
like in my mind,
We, we were killing ourselves to do that when we first started doing it.
yeah,
Yeah.
killing and not getting anywhere. So,
hmm
you know, that's where I'm like, sometimes we gotta, and funny thing is my next blog we have to reflect a little bit. We have to look back and say, actually, this is getting good. I'm actually becoming a better musician. We're learning how to do this better. We actually are speaking videos, all of those things.
Right.
Or, you know, Nick makes a great joke. He's working on his jokes.
But did you know that Bitcoin could hit zero? That would be the literal bottom of it.
Oh, I thought it would have a cellar.
Ha- Oh, well then you're stupid.
Oh, well, we've already covered that. I am stupid. I think I can get good at stuff.
No.
Yeah. So, and then, yeah, I left this blog with kind of going like, I am trying some different things of not saying like, I think people want on YouTube, they want a story and they want creativeness. And sitting and playing XY instrument with a tab underneath doesn't draw attention. And I'm like, why am I going to spend all weekend doing that? That's not, I like doing it. It's fun, but it's more fun to do a whole song. Or I shot that stupid TikTok video.
Yeah.
That was a fun experience for me because it was creative in a different way. And that's
That
kind of
was.
my,
Watching your behind the scenes on that one
oh
too.
really? Nice.
Yeah.
Dude, I
Yeah.
was a little out there, if you know what I mean. No, because
Yeah.
no idea. But but part of it was, and I pushed myself really hard to get that done because then when I filmed everything, I was like, well, that was fucking fun. And it only took me probably an hour to film. Prep was a bitch. But then I was like, well, I need to edit this right now. I liked how I shot this. If I don't edit this right now. And so I stayed up late, edited it Saturday, released it Sunday. Like I was like jazzed about it.
Oh yeah. Right on.
Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, and then I got a couple other cool shoots planned, but yeah.
That's good. I was just thinking of saying something about going back to like the videos that people actually watch, right? So I think I sent you a video of that Charles Berthoud or however you say his name, the bass player who does like crazy bass. Maybe I didn't send it to you,
Oh,
but
you did.
anyway, I've been watching some.
The neon. Wait, were both him? I remember the
Yeah,
light
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So and he says in one I don't remember which video it was, but he talks about how he would do like this really cool video, this cool idea, and he'd give it a name that described what it was, and no one would watch it. So what he ended up having to do was actually create like a clickbait title for everything, and people would watch those. Something just kind of extravagant,
Yeah.
you know. But that's true. I mean, think about, of course that's going to be the case. You're going to scroll through and be like, that sounds interesting. That's the reason they call it clickbait, right? That sounds
Yes.
interesting. That sounds interesting. Even if the content sucks, the title can pull you in, right?
Speaking of YouTube rabbit holes, I think that day that I just burnt out, I watched this guy on YouTube that built an underground bunker.
Really?
And it was part 3 of his underground bunker. I didn't watch part 1 or 2, but I watched part 3 and I was just, the presentation was okay. He had some cool things, but you could tell the footage was a little bit rough. There was different things, but he had a story of why he was building a bunker. And I was just like, I'll watch this. I don't care. But it's the truth. I think a lot of that bass, what's his name again?
Charles Berthoud. Berthoud. Okay.
I think you and I, as we get to these, we talked about last week doing like these ambient tracks of these Lamech songs. So taking Blue Light and instead of worrying about getting the finished vocal product done, let's turn it into this. In my mind, I think of Brian Eno hour-long song or something, and giving it,
which I'm incapable of doing.
Yeah, dude, somebody just took a Brian Eno song that was maybe 3 minutes, time stretched it to an hour, and released it on YouTube as 600 views. 600,000. I'm sorry, not 600. 600,000 views.
Really?
I can go a lot too, so we can do Brian Eno, you know. But the clickbait thing, I think.
When you play that guitar part.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm excited. I'm excited about those kinds of things. That's just a little bit different. I think we can highlight music. We can talk about the stuff that we're doing in Music by the Measures, but we can also do creative stuff that is more inspiring for us both.
Well, and it plays to our strength. Our strength, frankly, is creating instrumental music.
Yeah.
It's something to knock out. If we were a full band together, we could just knock out instrumental tracks one after the other. And they could be anywhere from 10 to 40 minutes long, as we've done plenty of time.
Yeah.
Just working on ideas.
Yeah. Well, and we've talked a lot in our own musical histories, and it's the same thing I'm doing right now. Just do it, repeat, release. Do it, repeat, release. And who fucking cares? So I listened to my scratch takes from first day of Fleetwood Mac to present. They're not great. This one or this one, they're not great. But I could hear definition and pitch that I couldn't hear day one. I could hear, actually the funny thing is I do what I always do. I sing too loud, right?
Yeah.
Well, day 3, I actually had this softer tone, but I lost it and went back to my yelly, trying to, what I think singing it. Yeah. So, but to see the progress in 3 days, same thing. If we start releasing instrumental track, to see the progress in 3 months, it gets better. You just have to. Tom McDonald and his girlfriend or wife weren't perfect when they first did their first video, right? But they did it.
Not at all.
And that's the point. So just do it. Nike. It's a sponsor tie-in.
Click on their ad here.
Deal. Wait, did you ever see? I don't know if I told you this. It's the one when you said the San Francisco thing. The microphone. What's that microphone called again? The one that you have?
Oh, this L2.
Yeah. Did you see that I said go to their place here and I put an address? Did you see that video? Okay, I thought that was funny. It's some restaurant in Bangkok, a Bangkok restaurant. They sell food. That's words are hard.
Is it called Slate ML2 or something like that?
No, it was just funny because you're in San Francisco, so I put their address. A Bangkok food restaurant is the word I'm looking for, but there's a different word. I don't know. Words. Sure. I'll look up the address and get back to you. I just thought it was hilarious when I did that. I patted myself on the back for that one, but
someone had to do it for you.
Clearly, because I had to. Yeah, that went over well. Cool. All right. Anything else about the article? I'm moving on. I'm doing my move on thing. All right.
I think that's
Sweet.
good.
Good chat.
I'm satisfied with that. Yep.
All right. You have a good week, sir.
Cool. You too.
All right.
See you.
Bye.